Wes Nisker, a colleague, a wonderful teacher, interviewed Gary Snyder a few years ago, and Gary is one of our greatest environmentalists. He started writing about bioregionalism and tending the environment 50 years ago, got the Pulitzer Prize for Earth Household. He's also one of our great poets. And Wes said, here you are, you're now in your mid-80s, the oceans are rising, we're losing species, the climate change is affecting millions of refugees. What do you have to say to us at this point? And Gary looked back and he said, don't feel guilty. If you're going to save it, don't save it out of guilt or anger and outrage or fear, because those are the very states that have created the problem that we're in. Save it because you love it. It's the only force that really can meet the pressures of fear and greed and guilt and anger and so forth. Save it because you love it, because it's yours. And so I am an activist in many ways in my life, and we'll talk more about that as the program goes on, and how to, both for yourself, but more importantly, how to support that in the students that come to you. What does it mean, really, to listen and hear the humanity wherever you happen to go? My beloved Trudy, wife, she was in the Darfur refugee camps, and the work she did bringing mindfulness to a whole cadre of women that were teaching the young children there. They went in this beautiful group, and they did a very unusual thing as an NGO, a very small one. They went in and they said, what do you want? What do you need? Instead of helicoptering in with all their ideas. And the women said, we want soccer for our kids so they don't give up hope. How do you like that? And now there's a whole, in the Darfur camps, there's a whole soccer academy and all these kids. And we want kindergarten. We want our kids from early on to understand that they can learn. And so Trudy was many things, but she has a degree from Harvard in developmental psychology, and she really knows that young kid territory. And she went and was training these amazing women who'd survived so much in how to be teachers for these children, you know. So we each kind of look at what way we have to love the world and to tend the world, and that it is our family. In my day-to-day travels, I often invite people to tell me about their personal victories close to their heart. Recently, while headed to the airport, I extended this question to the Uber driver. He responded by saying, my family. As it turned out, he and his wife were currently raising 9 grandchildren because his daughter and son have succumbed to the current drug epidemic. The driver's approach to this very human tragedy is kindness and a combination of tenderness and kind of a fierce heart. As I listened, the driver transformed into a bodhisattva. He shared that he and his wife work multiple jobs. He said, I don't know if people can imagine going to court, getting custody of the kids, waking them up every day, clothing them, feeding them, supporting them day in and day out. And my daughter, he paused to weep, doesn't really have a place to live. She's on methadone. She's lost. Sometimes she comes to our house needing a place that's safe. It's challenging. The problem's gone on for so long. I asked him, how do you keep going? And he said, for me, there's no sacrifice. My wife and I want what's best for these children. They need a stable home, a chance. If we didn't make ourselves available, things could be really bad for them. And in his voice, there was no self-congratulation, no shaming of his own children, no complaining, no anger. There was only kindness flowing naturally despite the adversity. This person I was traveling with, this ferryman, was helping to carry 9 children on a raft of kindness, reminding me of the vast kindness frequently attributed to the Buddha. to support wellness, physical, mental, emotional, spiritually, to be kind and at ease, not just for ourselves, but for those around us and those we encounter. Such is the opportunity we have as human beings, and there's nothing more beautiful. So in some way, I'm telling these stories to you because they touch me, and in many ways will perhaps touch you, to let you know that the fabric of what we're doing is woven with compassion, and that we can become that. And it's a practice. You're not always compassionate. Neither am I. And if, you want to know more, you can talk to my daughter and my wife. I mean, the deal is that if you want to know about a master, talk to their spouse, right? That's really how it goes. I have my moments like we all do, but there's a direction that we can set our hearts and our lives in. And the practices that we're learning here allow us to turn toward that which is difficult rather than averting our gaze. We can hear the news, we can see the difficulty around us, and then we can look really close in and see those human beings that are, within arm's reach. And we can extend our hands to mend what we can in the world. We can take the gifts that we have, we can take the vision, and we can teach others to do it. We can teach others that they can make a difference. And it's not yours to change the whole world. That would be a little bit of inflation, egotistical. It's not yours, but it is yours to mend and to tend and to love it, as Gary says. If you're going to change it, you do it. The only real power, is to save it, is because you love it. And it begins very close in. And then you find your way